Everyone, hi. Welcome to my beautiful home. Well, I will be doing a virtual chat today via via Field and Supply. Um, I'd like to talk a little bit about how I launched my line. I started about 3 years ago. I launched the line 3 years ago, and I worked on creating the line for about 16 years. And it really began with the root of who I am and my influences throughout my life. Um, and my grandparents, who were immigrants from Italy, they came here to this country to fulfill their dreams. They worked hard with the education they were given to them and built a life of hope and core family values of simplicity, integrity, and staying in balance, not taking more than you need. Staying in touch with what matters most. So these values were instilled in me from a young age. We grew a lot of our own food and opened our hearts to anyone in need. My parents also have been an integral part of my influence in creating my line. My dad was a chemist. We always were creating concoctions in my home, viewing life scientifically and somewhat analytically. So that definitely goes into play when I'm formulating my products. My mom is the balance. She's a free spirit, musician, loves to nurture, and always sees the best in people. Um, I believe these influences molded me and put me on a path of beauty, wellness, and mindfulness. I'd like to think my best skill is listening. I am truly interested in the whole person and how someone feels, and I have a strong desire to help navigate those feelings. So, in my line of creating, I look at products when I'm creating them as tools that can assist someone while they are on their own personal journey. Um, because we are all headed down some path, it is not always straight, and there are obstacles. So, in order to continue, sometimes we need a little guidance. And I believe that sense plays an important role in aiding with mental clarity. It can trigger receptors in the brain and it encourages positive thoughts as they transmit. We a lot of times are in a fight or flight mode, especially lately. It's who we've become as a world. I have worked in New York City and Soho for 25 years in the beauty industry prior to branching out and developing my own line. I've experienced the high intensity and demand of everyone needing something immediately. It's a rush, but it's wonderful, but it's also wearing over time. So, in conjunction of the simplicity, the additive of wellness is also a part of the formulation for balance. And taking the small moment to cultivate your own needs and taking the time to care for yourself. This act is so important to listen to your mind and to your gut. It will tell you what it needs every time. I have found reconnecting with things I love to do reading, sketching, exploring, journaling, um, having are all being super helpful sometimes in challenging moments. But eventually, these modalities start to seep back into my being, and it allows for me to see clearly again with what matters most and putting things in perspective. Oh, I'm just getting some little blurbs in here from people. So, hi, everybody. Junia, hi. Um, so, anyway, I want to go back to how important these small tasks are. They're vehicles for allowing the whole person to develop. Life is tricky. It throws us a lot our way, but we've got to learn to overcome and sort out what is worthy of our energies, and what will deplete us from being the best we can be. So the ingredients that I use are well thought out. Um, they take a lot of research. They go, it goes into the role that will play in products. The combination of ingredients are generally based on studies in Eastern medicine, Ayurveda, perfumery, aromatherapy, and psychology. We resource cruelty free, ethically sourced, organic when available, and in addition to growing some of our own ingredients. One second. The, sun, the sun's in my eyes. Sorry. Okay. It's beautiful out today. Anyway, um, so yeah, it's important what we put on our skin and in our bodies because there's a lot of products out there that have hormone disruptors in them. And, when we think we're doing something good for ourselves, we're actually causing damage to the function of our internal organs. So, taking it back to what I was saying in the beginning about the simplicity of our ingredients and the way that we think um, is vital for what we put on our skin. And so, developing the line 58 Flora was born from those ideas of how it is for us to um, be mindful, be knowledgeable, um, to think outside the box, to think small instead of big, not big corporations, but small makers, because historically, these are how products in were born. I mean, they were born from people treating people with ailments, with ingredients that they grew in their gardens. And, I'm not discarding Western medicine. It has its role, but again, there's always a balance. And so we need to keep that in check. Uh, I spend a lot of days now, like in my gardens. I mean, with us being in quarantine, I would love to show you around a little bit. I can kind of give you a little glance behind me. I have about 5 acres, and I've been spending a lot of time, like, studying my plants and their abilities and what they offer, and also importantly how uh, they encourage pollination. Um, it's important that we plant things that are native to our area so that the bees have the foods that they need to flourish, which then in turn gives us food. So, I also have 2 acres of wetlands. So I have a complete ecosystem here that has been really amazing because I'm always on the run, like running to my store or running to New York for something. But this time that we've been given, not voluntarily, has helped me to really pay attention to everything that's going on a it's a much larger level, but for us we would think it was like a smaller simplistic level. Um, but it has opened my eyes, and it also has returned me to, again, how important it is for us in our time of busy, that we take these times to take care of ourselves. And so again, in my product line, in formulating my products, and each one has a specific reason. And they were typically developed at a time when possibly I needed something and I was searching for something. Um, Yes, and so I'm getting a little feedback from the phone. That's why if I pause, forgive me. Um, um, but one of the many things that I think is important is when you have issues come up, that we have tools that we can use to navigate through, and that's part of like what my line is also about. So on here you'll see that we have the mood scent, and we also have now, that's better, thank you. We also have the aromatherapy single notes. They are sourced from very high quality ingredients, and to they're developed to help you, uh, transform your space, to to change the mood of your environment when things are feeling like when you're feeling frustrated. Um, the scents trigger receptors in your brain, and they can help transmit and change things emotionally, through like the central nervous system. It's a big role in psychology that scent has. It takes us back in time. It can trigger nostalgia. All those things that are really important, um, you know, in our psyche, uh, to aid us in, moving forward through difficult times. We're in your daily routines, your just general daily routines. We have the core ingredients, the foundation of plants, and do you have products to show? In my medicine cabinet. I just got a question if I have products to show. I have them in my medicine cabinet. My studio is on my property, but I lose connection if I go to it. So I really plan to take everyone through. But okay, so onward though. So anyway, so botanicals, and fruit, like fruits, all those things have so many beneficial values, in building collagen, in restoring skin, and that aren't harmful. I mean, obviously you always need to check and see if you have allergies. I mean, everybody has sensitivity to things, so I always try and say, you know what, if there's a doubt, you do a patch test. But in conjunction with that is the scent, and I that's like the artistry of what we do. I mean, formulating is that too, but the scent is, what I think someone needs at the time of day that they may be using a product. um, so in the morning, or in the evening, when it's time to like wind down, scents play an important role, in the formulation. So you'll notice with all of our products that each one has a very special scent. I'm looking at the okay, so people would love to see the views behind me. So I'm gonna take you on a little walk. I won't go far, I promise. Let me see. So this is the mountain. So we are outside of Kerhonkson. We're in Kerhonkson. It's so beautiful here. I feel so blessed. And that is the Mombakas Mountain. Um, this is my little herb garden that let's see if I can get you there, that I pick from every night. It goes into all of our meals. I have nasturtium, which is an edible flower. I have chives. I have wild bergamot. Oh boy, here we go. And I have thyme. I have two different types of thyme. And I have a ton of basil, which I've been completely addicted to this year, especially since it's deemed as an antiviral, antibacterial. So all of these herbs have medicinal properties, And are they going to cure illness? No, but would they act as something preventative? I absolutely am a firm believer. I would show you the two snakes that came out this morning to visit me too, because but I think they finally went into their little areas. But again, this is something that's incredible, and this is how wonderful nature can be. So here, what I'm showing you, and there's a beautiful bee buzzing, but this is tomatillo. And tomatillos, I'm going to show you the flower here. Tomatillos are basically used in a lot of Mexican dishes, preparations. And I actually planted these last year, and they came back from seed. So it's pretty awesome. Like when you're planting a garden, all the like amazing flowers that will just come back from seed. So this garden actually is my daughter's garden. And also I am a huge, huge fan of violets. And my dream one day is actually to have a violet garden. And I do use violet in some of my products, but it's really rare and it's really hard to find, and very, 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 very expensive. So I am working hard on growing violets. So every year I plant, I reseed, and yes. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm going to break a second. Are people naturally drawn to scents that they need in their lives? Or yeah, I think so. One of my studies years ago in green medicine was that, was that, anything that you needed really was like right outside your home. So if like poison ivy, typically the anecdote for poison ivy is jewelweed. And usually they're grown like pretty close together, just naturally in nature. I think that, our animalistic, instincts definitely draw us to certain scents like white florals, woods, musks. So yes. And then do I have a bestseller? I do. I have Essentia is a perfume that I make. And it is a blend of white florals, cacao, sandalwood. So it definitely triggers the emotion of like love and like life and grounding and travel, and all the things that bring out like the best in you. And it was really created based on my travels like throughout the world and things that like I took back with me. So the perfumes are definitely inspirations of life's moments. What else? Okay, so is it hard to come up with a formulation? One of the things that, for me, honestly, it's second nature. And that was one of the things I was observing through my life. Like what I've observed in my life so far is that some of us are fortunate enough to really become like who we are supposed to be. And it is like, again, I say a journey, but I have had so many influences in my life. Like my dad was a huge influence, which is basically my line is he raced cars for a hobby. And so his car number was 58. And that's why my line is called 58 Flora, because it's kind of an homage to him, and who he was, and again how integral he was in my life and creating products. So as I said, as a kid, we formulated all the time. It's what we did in our house. I mean, it was like, we made our bug spray. We made like, so yeah. So I definitely, not knowing that chemistry was like a part of who I was. I was more geared towards the beauty, but they go hand in hand. And I always like to think of Estee Lauder, who created a whole product line just based on her uncle's experience. And, I think you're kind of born into certain things. So formulating for me is not super challenging. I actually love doing it. I like thrive doing it. There's nothing more than I love than going into my studio and creating products that I think will help people in some way and giving them a piece of my heart, really. So, okay, absolutely inspired. Love that. Okay. Any new products in the works? Well, actually, they're launched on Field and Supply right now. They are my 17 products that is on the site with you guys at the moment. At Field and Supply, you can view them. There's a perfume, my best-selling perfume, Essentia, which has been one of the first products I made. There is a squalene and lavender daily glow oil, which is just a beautiful, like, not complicated, light oil that you can use literally from head to toe. It is just enough hydration because squalene is basically the sebum that our skin that we produce. So basically, this just helps balance it out. We're not adding too much to our skin. We're just, replenishing what we produce naturally. And because of the moments that we're in right now, the life that we're living, lavender has been my go-to scent. So back to, the question earlier about scents that we're drawn to. Yeah, I mean, it's like lavender. I'm like all about lavender right now. And then the other new product is nectar. And again, it's a very deep, nourishing oil used for like areas on the body, like face and elbows and like knees, and and actually also aromatherapeutically, because it has jasmine and rose geranium. And jasmine as a scent is an anti-anxiety. So again, for the times now, it seemed like a suitable scent to add, and it has just so many beneficial values. Also in nectar is like 10 different plants and also fruit extracts. Prickly pear, Kalahari melon seed oil, blackberry seed oil, things that are all like common to the growing season right now. So I'm also very in tune in what's growing in nature right now. And that really inspired my current formulations. And then the mood sprays. The mood sprays, as I shared earlier, help to kind of transform a space. You can use them on your body. The base ingredient is witch hazel, and which is known as an anti-inflammatory. What else? I wish you could bottle the smell of, yeah. How challenging is it to get ingredients for your product? It's very challenging. Good question. Thank you. I was asked, how challenging is it to get ingredients in today's climate? It has been extremely challenging. Parts of the world, like as I order all over the world, or my suppliers are getting ingredients from India, from France. And, I mean, we're all in the same situation at this present moment. So for months, I couldn't get anything. And now when we can order things, the time is definitely delayed to get ingredients that are needed or that we'd like to use, which, also it's like, when you open your refrigerator and you're like, okay, what am I having for dinner tonight? Okay, I have eggs, I have like whatever, you know, it helps you to really like fine tune your thinking and be creative and make things that maybe you wouldn't have typically made, or to revisit ingredients that maybe you wouldn't have used in the past, or you know but I do believe, and I do have to say, I have such gratitude for Field and Supply. I just want to give you guys a shout out, because you have brought all of these wonderful makers together, and I do believe that it is part of who we are as a country. These small artisans, small, that are putting their time and their love and their passion into creating something so special with their hands and their minds and their heart. And I know I speak for everybody when I say we are so grateful, and we love what we do. I love what I do. I am so happy to be sharing all of this with everybody. So, yeah, thank you. And thank you for joining me and coming to the Field and Supply site. And please check out everybody on this site so that that you can see all the beautiful creativity that happens in these wonderful minds. So I think, let me see here. I have a couple more questions. Yeah, so I think that is all for today. Thank you.